We're live from Kampala's Serenity Conference Center. This is Morning at NTV. I want to send shouts out to all those celebrating the Independence Day today. Now, to bring this to context, we're talking earlier on to a youthful Joshua Kandwanaho vying for the youthful MP in the Western region. But coming back here, we've had a greed of different people coming into politics. And today we have a Joseph Mayanja. Many of you call him Jose Chameleon. Today is going to be talking to us, and my colleague Stephen Mbide is already on ground in Seguko with Jose Mayanja. Mbide.
Yes, good morning to you, Andrew Chamagero. Indeed, this is Seguko, and the man I'm with is also a sports administrator, being one of the partners of Wakiso Giants, and a businessman, and also an artist. But today, we know that 58 years after Uganda attained its independence, many young people are expressingly and increasingly showing interest in political leadership. And this being Joseph Mayanja, a.k.a. Dr. Jose Chameleon. Yes. How are you today, and how is it for you after 30th September when you were nominated?
I will say that it is a great feeling. Why? Because I believe in God. God has many wonders he can do for people. So with this whole calling, it feels that he's really doing magical works. You know, like when you saw the nomination, you saw the energy of the people, you see that he is in charge. I'll give you an example of Daniel and the lion's den. Daniel was thrown into the den of lions because he was falsely accused by the king's men. And they thought that if he had been put in the den, he was going to be eaten. Several days later, the king came and he was trying to supervise and see what was going on, but Daniel was still alive. So just like the story says in the Bible, there's been lots of challenges where people are trying to have this blackmail and this. There's so many challenges that the public is very sure about and they know about. But unfortunately, we're still alive because God's plan and God's power is still working for me.
Okay, 58 years after Uganda getting independence, you, the young people, are coming up and taking up, challenging the old generation. You see some, one is trying to take on the presidency, others going to parliament, others councillors. You, Joseph Mayanja, coming into the city Lord mayorship. What kind of Kampala do you want to see 59 years after?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to tell to you that just 59 years is not just 59 years. One thing is music has played a very big role in the transformation of this whole country and the city. Personally, I am the youngest person in the book that celebrated 50 years of Uganda. And I was there because I transformed music, which means I'm a transformer. So what happens is the kind of city we want to have is a transformed city. We have played a very big role musically. Music is not a very easy job to do. Music takes your mind, body, and soul. It takes a lot of composure. So the same composure probably is what I also want to add on to the city. The other day, nali ndaba TV and abakazi fighting. They were trying to fight with water, trying to drain the arcades. After the floods fell. And it's very unfortunate that after so many years, after 58 years, that is still a problem. On the reign of late Sebana Chizito, when he was the Lord Mayor, he did a lot of work on the Nachivubo water drainage. But unfortunately, the leadership that came in after has never added nothing on that. So I really think that in the transformation of the city, we have to plan for the floods. How? People ask themselves and say, how? I think we need to regulate the runoff. When we got flowing and got unregulated, got flowing directly into the city. So I think by greening, where we, for example, emyala bagitekako paspalam. N'abantu benyini abalina compounds was greening. We shall have a regulated water flow, and then the water won't come. For example, if you regulate water, the water will come so ejja iri regulated. Nga olaba traffic jam baga nti regulating ati zino zigende. The same thing means for water. So the water won't just be falling into the city just how. I also think about the reservoirs. We have very big institutions in the city. We have the ministries, we have the hospitals, we have the schools. They must have reservoirs where we have water flowing into the reservoir before it flows into the mainstream. So that's one of the plans of the city. Nti abantu complain about traffic jam, for example. Traffic jam, what are you going to do for the traffic jam? Because people think there's no solution for that. But there is a solution for that. In the urban cities that are neighboring us, not Europe, but even in Africa, they practice what they call, the city should be operating about 24 hours. The city should not close. When the city doesn't close...
So you're looking at the business side of the city,
yes,
operations?
Yes. When you look at the city not closing, that means people are going to have work shifts. Nechibuga Kampala, people work, and we all have a norm. We work from 8 or 7 to 6. The traffic jam is not only vehicles. We also have traffic jam with people. When you go past Chibuye, for example, you see people. So what happens is we need a city plan that makes the city able to be working 24/7. Kampala is too young of it took a time to go. Ekibuga kino operating 24/7. Mulimu abayingira bakola emisana n'abayingira bakola ki. That will also regulate on how many people need to depend on the opportunity of Kampala. The plan is so big. We have a big plan for the health side of it and sanitization. You cannot have a city where you don't have healthy people. For example, if I am elected in the office of Lord Mayor 2021, I want to have everybody registered having a health card.
These are some of the services you're looking at, but also the incumbent, you and 9 others are looking at unseating the incumbent.
Yes.
Who some people say is also strong on the ground, and these are some of the promises he has been making.
Yeah, but you know, after 10 years of being the incumbent and 5 years of being the member of parliament for Kampala, we are not ready to wait for promises. We've been waiting too long. People have been waiting too long, and that's why I come in as a Mr. Solutions. A lot of people are going to promise. They'll tell you this, tell you that, but people promise they don't have solutions. I have immense solutions for this city. Personally, I guess everybody watching me on TV knows that my name is Chameleon. I want to use also this popularity to go across borders to find solutions. You know what I mean? If I walked into the Amsterdam mayor's office, I want to introduce the problems of our city
In
Netherlands and find solutions. The incumbent actually has wasted a lot of time with self-power. Self-power is not right. If we want to redeem our city, we need to have allies. That's how this also comes in. I want to have an interstate mayor city. We have presidents who come and summit together as East African community. When they summit together, that means they're trying to find solutions for East Africa as a community. We need the same thing in the Lord Mayor's office, because this is also another government. You'll ask them, do they know the mayor of Kigali City? They don't. You'll ask them, do they know the mayor of...
So you're looking at collaborations?
Yes, collaborations.
Okay, let's talk about you. When you came up and announced that you were going to be a Lord Mayor of the city, you, at first you said you were going to be independent, then before we knew it, you were going to NUP. Even before that, you had gone to DP, and you were the national mobilizer of the Democratic Party. Were you disappointed when they didn't give you a card, and the person they gave it to...
I'll tell you the story about it. It's very disappointing, because it didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen. But I still give thanks back to God himself, because had it been the way I wanted, I would be having a hoe from Democratic Party. I should be having a hoe onto myself, because that was what I wanted it to be. Until my brother Chagulanyi Sentamu invited me to NUP. When he invited me, I thought I was going to have the umbrella over me. But inevitably, I cannot be very disappointed without thinking about God's plan. Upon God's plan, right now I'm standing as an independent candidate. But I believe that with God's work, He's planned for all this journey, and He's going to take me even further than this. However, change of guarantee. I'm still on the people's side.
Actually, we're in NUP.
I'm still an NUP, yes, true. But most importantly, Charlie, people's side. Look at it this way. It's like being in prison. Mukomere waberayo munagamba nti nze nkulira nze RP wekomera nze simanya biki. But at the end of the day, wabereba warden. What does that mean? It means that you're still prisoners against the prisoner. So most importantly, I'm still NUP and a little bit of DP. But most important is I'm still on the oppressed side. I am not on the oppressor's side. And my intentions are to redeem ourselves from the oppressing side. We want to oust the oppressors.
I just want to understand your game changer in this game of aspiring, because you're now a candidate, being the road mayor, because the people you're vying against, they are also artists like you. There is Daniel Kazuwe, aka Ragadi of NRM. There is Charles James Senkugo DP, yes. And there is also the incoming independent from FDC.
Yeah, but
I just want to understand your game plan for the city.
Yeah, but what I want to tell to you is, do those people have a success story? That is very important. I am one man who's been standing for Uganda music internally and externally for the last 20 years. Yes, they are artists, but I know they're very good artists. But what is their success story? What have they added on to Uganda as a story? You know, we are suffering lockdown. The other day I've been called by Tanzania and Kenya. They want me to go and perform in Tanzania. That means that I'm trying to export Uganda beyond the borders. I'm not trying to downplay them, but realistically, if we go back to being artists, who's the better artist? So after 20 years of fighting for Uganda music and representing this music to the fullest with all my...
Which music has also contributed to the Ugana's 58 years of independence.
It has, and like I told you, I'm one of the youngest people in the 50 years book of independence. Why? Because I was relevant. So being an artist is not going to be an excuse. You must have a story of what have you added onto the art before you come into the politics. Because apparently what happens is the same success that we have portrayed in the music industry can be very important on the success we want to portray in the administration of the city. Yeah.
Well, let me take you back to NUP. When you were denied the card, from that time, have you talked to Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi about this and your disappointment? Yeah,
we met actually at the burial of the late Alhaji Nasser Nteke Semagala. But we didn't have a lot of time. But of course, us as artists, when we look at each other, you can see the communication. I know he feels a little bit bad that maybe the vetting team didn't recognize that I'm such a very big stronghold in the city. But as a political party, we go by that, and we shall talk about it when we have ample time.
And what do you want to tell him when you meet in that discussion?
Yeah, what I want to tell to him is I'm still a member of NUP, and I am still vying for Lord Mayorship because the people that they vetted and have brought forth, I think have more to provide for the city than they have. And people actually get a little confused about the two things. They think this is popularity, trying to take us into politics. No, no, no. I have a lot of exposure, more exposure than any other candidate that is standing against me. I have a lot of will. You know, there's trying to have an office where you want to go and then we repeat the same story into Listen to me, if Kampala misses this big fish this time, then we are still going to be falling back into the same old promises. I am Mr. Solutions. I want to, you know, I'll give an example. We've been moving around trying to vet with the people. I look at people and I really feel very, very, very bad. It is so derailing. I have the soul for the people.
Okay. In that heart and soul for the people, just speak to them, looking to them in the camera in 2 minutes and tell them what you, Mr. Solutions, as you call yourself, what you have for them for Kampala, new Kampala.
Yes. The new Kampala that I will be administering is, I want to transform the city. Forget about the floods. I've talked about the floods. I want to have the health sectors. Imagine the whole of Kampala with about 4.5 million people living and working in there. We have about 6 toilets in the central city. and very down toilets that even the people that are in the offices that you gave to cannot even go and use themselves. We need to have a transformation where we have more toilets, we have more drainage, we have more roads. We want to make everybody love the city. My dear friends, Kampala is one of the most beautiful cities in Africa. But we are living behind it. I want you people to work with me. I want the city residents to work with me. And we have a great city. For example, no sisters, taxi, makeup, you know. We need toilets at the standards where even the Lord Mayor himself can walk into there, even when Lord Mayors, are so walking into the toilet now using a service. We need services that even the Lord Mayor and the people that we elect into office can use. For example, if today they tell you we are taking you to Chirudu Hospital, the first thing you think is I'm going to die there. Why? Because you know there's not adequate health services in there. We need to improve all sectors. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time, but sooner or later I'm launching my manifesto. But please, Kampalans, understand that beyond the correction that we did to music, we want to correct and transform our city.
Okay, thank you so much. Many people doubted you when you announced, and then when you also picked the forms, or even when you were nominated as well as
yes, but
forward.
I'll tell
many still doubt.
I'll tell you, Stephen, that even when God chose Moses, Moses doubted himself. You know, it is unfortunate that people have not been informed, and if people are not confident of themselves, let the confident ones go through. You know, like Moses in the Bible. Moses was a shepherd of goats and sheep. When God chose him to liberate the slaves of Israel in Egypt, do you know what Moses asked? Moses yabuuza nti mukama wange ziri muluzi wa ndiga na mbuzi kati nasobola ntya okujja abantu mu buyinike. God gave him power.
Okay.
God gave him power and told him omugogo gwenyini gw'olundisa endiga n'embuzi, it will be magical. So the same way, I am a very confident man, I am a very good believer, although one of the things that really frustrated me was the reason I was rejected the NUP card is because of my religion.
I was told that was just a serious allegation.
No. If it was an allegation, then the party should have come up and declare it properly. But how do you say that one of the qualities I need is because you must be the other? I'm a Catholic. And
thank you.
Hold on, Mr. Sebana Chizito, the late Lord Mayor Sebana Chizito, was a Christian. When we are governing the city, we don't go into religions, we govern the city together.
Thank you so much, Joseph Mayanja. Thank you for speaking to us on Morning at NTV. Although I missed an online concert from you during the lockdown, apart from Chigwaleo, the big tune that you released with other Slick Stewart and DJ Roger, but I thought we would have had an online concert, being that you're one of the top artists in Uganda, and this being the time that we are having many online concerts. This is Morning at NTV. Stephen Imbido Pepe Suwe Chibuga. But before I wind up, maybe my producer is asking, for example, are you having any plans for the entertainment industry that maybe you can be coming back?
Yeah,
that is the question.
The entertainment industry is being very frustrated. I actually request the authority to let the industry be. Because if you look at the neighboring countries, Tanzania, Kenya, where we also know that there's COVID cases, they have opened up the entertainment industry. So I request the authority to let the entertainment go through, because a lot of my youngsters and a lot of the people in my industry are suffering. You know, the other day I met one of my fellow artists, Kabako. You know, the guy who's...
I
met him and I was asking him, how do you manage? People are getting frustrated. Other businesses are operating whilst the music that has contributed so much for a country in the last 58 years is going down. I actually heard of the bill, but it's all the bill, before you produce your music, you have to take it for vetting again. That is unfortunate. I would love and I wish to ask the government under His Excellency President Jeremy Museveni to consider music, because in such a time where people are suffering too much disease, COVID, people need better go. And two, we also need our job to be considered as one of the jobs that has also represented Uganda for the last so many years after independence. So maybe they put it in. If they don't, we shall then move to the next step. Otherwise, my fellow Ugandans, I wish you a very happy independence.
And last word to all those in the entertainment industry.
Yes.
Those your brothers and sisters who are doing the music. What kuba endongo?
Abantu bakakuba ndongo naye ndongo jjajja aganye jita. I'm pretty sure ayina byati ayina byaluna naga nti wanaate ndongo bino bigenda kutabuka.
So you want to open up also just like they have opened up other sectors. This is Morning at NTV. Thank you so much, Dr. Jose Chameleon, Joseph Mayanja. As we know him, he's a candidate in the mayor race with other 10 candidates. This is Morning at NTV. Back to you, Andrew Chamagero. Thank you for being a part of us. Happy Independence Day, Uganda.
Thank you so much, Stephen Mbide. Well, Dr. Jose Chameleon has brought a lot more to light. The other day we had a conversation with our Honorable Mike Mabike here, and he alluded to something to do with a religion that happened in the NUP party, and Chameleon has brought it to more broader scale, and we understand. But politics is always a game. We hope they actually find lasting solutions.